Hello everyone, Easy here from mslumiablog.com, and here is my full review of the Lumia 950. So I've got here the Lumia 950. I've been using this for about 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. Going to do a quick review, my experiences, performance reviews, hardware reviews, the camera review. Just give you a nice feel of what this device is going to offer you if you're looking to get one of these. First off, let's do a quick hardware overview. The Lumia 950 is the latest flagship device from Microsoft in over a year. This is the successor to the Lumia 930, which was released, I believe, over a year ago, early 2014, mid 2014. The device is really light. It weighs in at about 150 grams. The thickness is really slim compared to the 930. Microsoft learned from that mistake. This is 7.9 millimeters thick, but if you do add the hump from the camera, it goes up to a little over 8 millimeters thickness overall. At the top, you've got your 3.5 millimeter audio jack. On the sides, you've got your typical hardware buttons for a flagship device in the Lumia range, which is your volume rockers, your power button in the middle, and your camera button at the lower bottom there on the right side. On the left side, as usual, it's bare. There are no buttons there. And at the bottom, you've got the latest USB Type-C connector for data and fast charging. So on the back, that's where it's more pronounced. You've got your PureView Carl Zeiss branding there. You've got your new Microsoft logo in a nice chrome emblem. Also AT&T's logo right there. The speakers on the back right next to the camera. I do not like the placement of the speakers at the back or on the sides. My best position would be on the front bezel. Once I have my phone on the bed, I rarely hear any noise coming out of it. And you've got your triple LED RGB flash for natural colors when you take pictures in low light situations and use your flash. The camera is a 20 megapixel, like I said before, Carl Zeiss lens, PureView technology camera. As you can see there, you've got microphone, microphone right there for recording. Actually got a couple of microphones on either side. And so yeah, that is a quick run through of the device. At the front, actually, you've got your 5 megapixel camera that records in 1080p or even higher with different frame rates. You can set that up in the camera app, and the iris scanner sensor is on the top right side right there. I will take a look at that in a bit. So yeah, Microsoft logo on the top, on screen nav buttons, soft keys on the screen, so you can always swipe that away, as you can see there. Another microphone down here, and yeah, really nice device. My only one problem with the hardware is the speaker placement. Previous Lumia devices have the speakers at the bottom right. Microsoft just moved this to the top, still at the back. Not a big fan of that. They probably should have gone with the size, but then again, if you have speakers on the sides when you hold your phone in landscape mode, you could run the risk of blocking the sound coming off. Probably you're watching a YouTube video or playing a game. So that's my theory against putting speakers on the bottom sides there, like on the S6 or the iPhone. Best position would be in the front, but I guess this is Microsoft's signature look decision, putting the speakers on the back. But as far as hardware is concerned, that is my only gripe with the design there. Everything is perfect. In a year that saw phones come out with no micro SD support, no physical camera support, no removable batteries. Microsoft added all these options to the delight of Lumia fans. You can see this tiny notch here. You can pop open the matte polycarbonate plastic back cover. As you can see, you can just pop this open and just pry it out easily. It's quite similar to previous Lumia devices like the 640, 640 XL, 530, 550. So pop that open and you've got your, so the back cover is pretty much the whole body of the phone. On it you've got the NFC and wireless charging chips right there. So this is it. So you can always take this out, swap it out with a third-party case like the Mozo third-party case. It's not available yet in the US. Then underneath you've got your 3000 milliamp battery. It's really huge for a 5.2-inch screen phone. We'll talk about the battery performance in a bit, but then also you got your micro SD card. Underneath it is your nano SIM. There's a slot, so they're kind of layered together right there. So you got your micro SD. It supports micro SD cards up to 2 terabytes, but obviously what's in the market right now is 200 gig, and that is supported here. So that is really nice. And again, nano SIM in there. And you can see, so even when you buy a third-party case back cover, you can totally swap this out, unlike on the iPhone where you have to put it on top of the body. Mozo's third-party cases, for instance, do come with wireless charging, do come with the NFC, so they are rather expensive, but then again they come with all these extra stuff. So that's like I said before, the whole hardware design. I mean, there's been a lot of backlash from Lumia faithfuls about how simple the device is, but if you know me, then you know I'm a fan of simple stuff. Don't need anything complicated, anything high premium. This is a really nice rigid device. I feel it's even more rigid than the really feeble 1020. So yeah, that is a look at the hardware. Here the iPhone 6 and the Samsung S6. So these are what's in the market for the year 2015. These are your flagship devices: the iPhone 6, the S6, and the 950. 950 is the bigger of the three. Probably the iPhone 6 is the thinnest one, followed by the S6. As you can see how they measure in thickness. And well, manufacturers this year went with more premium material for the design builds for their devices, mainly aluminum and glass. So that's why Lumia faithfuls were kind of upset to see Microsoft come out with the polycarbonate plastic in a year that saw most high-end devices have metal or glass. But then again, Google did release the 5X, which is also identical both in appearance and material, as it also uses the polycarbonate plastic. So not to worry about. Again, Microsoft did iterate that this was for the Lumia fans. So moving on. Next up, let's see what powers these the 950. It's got inside the Snapdragon 808 processor with a GPU Adreno 418. It's got 3 gigs of RAM. It's got internal storage of 32 gigs. And yeah, that is really decent for this kind of device. That's really standard for high-end devices in 2015. So this is 1 year that saw Microsoft bring out a device that's on par hardware-wise to its other counterparts. Next up, we've got the display of the 950. It is a 5.2-inch screen, clear black display, meaning you can read this under direct sunlight, unlike other devices. It's not 1080p. It is higher. It is a 1440 by 2560 resolution screen with a really high PPI of 523. or 564 rather. So it's got 564 DPI with the resolution being at 2560p resolution. So that's really high. This is a really sharp screen here, and you're going to love it the moment you use it, the moment you look at it. It's even better when you look at it on the older brother of the 950, the 950 XL. But it's already decent. It's really high-end stuff on this device. Again, like Microsoft said, this was made solely for Lumia fans out there, for their loyalty in waiting all these years. Moving on, this is protected by Gorilla Glass 3, sorry. Yeah, so I mean, Gorilla Glass 4 is available. That is on the 950 XL. Makes perfect sense. The 950 XL is bigger, more vulnerable to scratches or falling down. So the Gorilla Glass 3 is equally as durable. So no complaints there. Only biggest concern about the display touch is the fact that there is no double tap to wake. So that's missing. I do want to believe this is coming in the near future in an update. But for now, there is no double tap to wake, which is like a signature feature in Lumia devices. So hopefully that comes soon. But for now, you've got to use the power button to unlock. The camera on this device, really awesome. The camera is the 20 megapixel camera. I'm not really a camera professional. I just use it consumer based. There's nothing fancy, you know. So my only expertise would be that I've been spoiled by the quality Nokia's put out with their cameras before recent days, when companies like Samsung, LG are moving into the mobile photography space. But yeah, Microsoft did hold its own with the image quality. Images are really nice, crisp, especially in low light, and they have the triple LED for RGB flash, which brings out the natural color when you take pictures, and those are really awesome. Like you can search around YouTube, the internet. There's a bunch of camera reviews or comparison videos comparing the camera quality of the 950 to those of its counterparts like the S6, the iPhone 6, LG G4, and the rest of it. The front camera is a 5 megapixel camera. It records 1080p, which is really nice. There is no front-facing LED flash. Probably will see more phones with front-facing flash in 2016, so they'll have to wait. I'm gonna post a couple of sample pictures I took with the device, also a sample 4K video. The camera UI, if we take a look, camera UI is, you know, the new Windows camera app. As you can see, I'm going to switch to video. There's a new slow motion. You can turn that on. Slow motion is on. You can record in 720p in 60 frames per second. You can do 1080p at 60 frames per second also. You can also record in 4K video. The battery, bad news to report. The battery is as bad as it was on my Lumia 930. I'm a really heavy user. And charge this device at 5 AM, and by 2 PM my battery is dead. So that is about, I've got 8 hours of use from this device in heavy use. If you do try to use it moderately, you will get about 10-11 hours before the battery runs out. One good advice to give would be to close out apps running in the background. You can hold down the back button to see apps running in the background, close them out. Once you're done, go back to the start screen, still press the back button to make sure there are no apps running there too. But then again, like I said before, battery performance, I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping with a 3000 milliamp battery I would get, at least from heavy use, at least get 12 hours of use, but that has not been the case. Thankfully, the battery is swappable. You can get an extra battery. Hopefully Microsoft can produce higher capacity batteries for the 950, so you can buy like a 3500 milliamp and just swap it in, you know, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, that is a look at the battery. Next up, iris scanner, Windows Hello, one of Microsoft Hello's newest features in Windows 10, and that is the option to unlock your phone with your eyes. It's pretty simple. So I found this to work. So see, I just used it to unlock my phone. It worked. It's 50-50 really, because most times I find if I'm walking and I try to unlock my phone, I have to be still and the phone has to be at least 1 foot away from your face. And once those requirements are not met, most times you will not get an unlock. But if you're steady, I showed you now, this is a perfect condition where it's right in front of me and I can look, and still it takes like about a second and a half. In that time I can put in a 4-digit PIN. So I'm kind of indifferent about the whole iris scanner issue. It is a nifty feature. I mean, it's a new feature that is not available, but it's not a deal breaker for an Android or iOS user to switch over to Windows Phone. But then again, yeah, we probably will see improvements to it also on Windows 10 laptops, PCs, tablets. So it's just something cool to show your friends that you can do with your Windows Phone. Most of the phones need actual contact, like fingerprints, for instance. But with this, you can just try contactless authentication, really, or you can call it wireless authentication, where you don't need to touch the device. All you got to do is just look at it and it unlocks. So yeah, that is. But the iris scanner, yeah, the first week it was really buggy. It was 50-50. It seems to be working well ever since I upgraded to the latest build that was released yesterday. That is 10.586.29. It's been, I don't know if Microsoft actually did improve on the iris scanner with that build. I'm not really sure. It didn't say anything about it in the change logs. But yeah, so that is the iris scanner. Next up, continuum, a nice feature. We'll take a look at that in a separate video. Got the latest Windows 10 OS running. Microsoft has been changing strategies, changing OSs in the last 3 years. We started out with Windows Phone 7 to Windows Phone 7.5. Then we got Windows Phone 8. Then we got Windows Phone 8.1. There's a bunch of issues about older devices upgrading from 7.5 to 8. A whole bunch of stuff, and then again, this is the third iteration of Windows Phone OS, which is now Windows 10 multi-platform, running on PC tablets. You know, talking about the OS, there is one big gap, and I'm talking about the app gap. There's still missing apps. For me, I actually have all the apps I need, but for an Android user who's intrigued by the 950, or an Apple iPhone user who's intrigued by 950, when you go through the Windows Store, you're not going to switch over. This is still a major hurdle. It's still going to be a major hurdle no matter what devices Microsoft puts out. Even if you put a device that can tell the future, if you do not have the apps for it, it's just not going to work. So this is one big issue Microsoft has to resolve. They have got new tools, bridges like the Islandwood, which allows you to port your iOS apps to Windows Phone. Unfortunately, that tool isn't available. I have talked to a couple of developers who are waiting on that tool to port their apps over. For instance, Prism, the money management application, is eagerly waiting for the bridge. A lot of developers are waiting for that tool to be released. And until then, I'm afraid we're stuck with the same apps we've got from Windows Phone 8, with a few exceptions like universal apps coming over. So all in all, there is a bright future coming. Microsoft just has to hurry up. It's rather slow the way they're going about it. But everything in all due time, I believe. So yeah, what else? In conclusion, I'm loving the 950. Was it worth the wait? Probably not, but then again, it's better than later, because the 930, I believe, has been released more than a year, and it was only on Verizon. The last 18T Lumia device was the 1020, really. Before that was the 920. So it's a relief to finally have a nice flagship on 18T's network. The 950. This would probably serve me for a year before the rumored Surface phone comes out. This is an ample replacement. No complaints here, really. In conclusion, I love that device is light. I love the polar cabinet design. It's simple. The camera is great. USB Type-C. I forgot to mention the quick charging, where you can charge your phone from 0 to 60% in 13 minutes. The screen is really gorgeous. The 564 ppi just shows you how wonderful. Just look at how sharp the screen is. Physical camera button, always a plus for me, to be able to quickly access my camera, take pictures with a physical camera, but that's something that's missing in other devices in 2015. You've got your micro SD card slots with 32 internal storage, so that's a big plus. So these are all the features I love about the device: the removable battery, the interchangeable back cover for a high-end device. All this Microsoft just took all the dreams of a Lumia fan and just stuffed it into the 950. So if you're loyal, it's going to be really hard to resist the 950 with everything that it's got. So, well, now to the disadvantages, stuff I've noticed that I don't really like. Hey Cortana doesn't really work, or should I say it works half the time. Also, there is no double tap to wake. This is one feature I really love. Let's see what else. Apps, some apps are still missing. I think for me, 80% of the apps I need are available either by official channels or by third parties. Battery life on this phone is piss poor, even for a 3000 milliamp battery. So lastly, what I don't like is the price. The phone is $600 in the US, and that is not even including taxes. So you can imagine how expensive this device is. Microsoft did not take a cue from HTC. If you remember, the HTC One M9 that was released earlier this year was about the same price. That device was a complete failure. Hopefully we'll see a price drop soon to around probably 400, 450 for the 950, and that should be a much better price for the 950 right now, but we'll see. For now, like Microsoft said, this is designed solely for Lumia fans. Expect to see a Surface phone next year, but until then, this is the 950, and this has been my review after a couple of weeks. My name is AZ. Thanks for watching mslumiablog.com channel. Be sure to subscribe. You can leave me a message, chat me up on Twitter, the fastest way to get a reply. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.